Guys, what's up? Welcome back to the studio, and today I finally get to do something I've wanted to do for a very long time. Now, please bear with me. I'm down and out with a cold for the last 2 weeks trying to beat it, but it's given me plenty of time to think and to come up with something new. Now, I have seen this done, and in fact, I'm getting this idea from a fellow Canadian that's up in Edmonton that took part in the Drift King competition that we did several months ago. And he put up a Facebook video that I thought was pretty neat. He actually had a PS4 controller that was a steering wheel and pedal system hooked into his radio. I saw it in some group somewhere, or else I'd say what his name is, but I don't know. But here he busted open one of his radios, was able to crack open the steering wheel and pedal system and hook everything together so it operated as a remote control. This actually steers his drift car, which I thought was so super cool. So big props to him. I know that this has been done for a long time. The first one I saw was back in 2010, and I've never done it before. I've never really seen an in-depth tutorial on how to do this, but I figure if they can muddle through this, so can I. It's been pretty cold and windy outside, and being down with the cold, I couldn't do too much RCing outside. But regardless, I want to keep going, and if I can figure this out, I'm going to post it for you guys to see, and that's why you're watching right now. Wouldn't it be cool to get out and control your drift car or trail truck with a steering wheel and pedal system if you're out on a course? Right on, eh? So let's get going. I've decided to keep it simple and go with a Spektrum DX2E, as you can see. No screen on top, so I'm trying to keep the electronics to a minimum, just so when I do actually get inside this radio, I'm not overwhelmed by a bunch of electronics. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Spektrum is known for putting in a ton of screws. 5, 6, 7. I bet you there's at least one under here, right here. 8, 9, 10. I'm going to bet on 10. Let's see. I'm not too worried about ripping the stickers off right now. It's not, this is an old radio, still functions, but I'm not too worried about that. And I think that's it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was one off. Oh, there's a screw hiding. Is it under here? Yeah, I see a hole. There is 10. Hilarious. I knew it was there. Okay, so here is the antenna attached up here. I'm gonna just slowly slide that. That's as slow as I could do it. All right, so I want to be careful with the antenna because it slid into a metal tube there. These 3 wires, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 out the front are the only ones I see. So this one's going to be for throttle. Now it's interesting because I'm going to have forward, neutral, and reverse. So I wonder how that's going to look inside the steering wheel compartment. I'm also going to want to take all of this out. So how am I going to do that effectively here? Now I also have to take into consideration I've got the dials, the light, and the switch, plus all these buttons on top, right? So I'm going to have to be kind of careful when I'm removing everything. There we are, there we are. Top piece with the buttons sliding out. So basically my goal is to put this entire unit right into the steering wheel somewhere and try to figure how the heck to hook this up. Okay, all the screws from the bottom have been removed. Remove the top plate. Nice, what do we see here? Okay, so here is the USB on the back. Here is the plug-in for the pedals. I just did all the screws on here, so I may be able to lift this out. Nice. Aha! Wow, look at the amount of grease they actually put on those pedal springs. Amazing. All right, so 1, 2, 3 cables off of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cables off the other side, and they all go down into one line, okay? So basically that's moving a variable resistor. I think that's what those are called. And then I just figured I was going to need a vehicle that actually was bound to this radio. So I'm going to do that right now. Of course, I've taken it all apart, which I thought you guys would think it was fun to see. Going to switch it on by holding in the bind button, switching on the taken apart radio. Going to have it binding right now. So the steering wheel and the radio must work in similar ways. Like if I look at this and I turn the wheel, right, this actually goes down to a sensor down here, and it has these 3 wires that come out to the main board. But it also has this cable here, which goes and houses all of these cables. Now, one thing I see, of course, right away is that it's purple, blue, and green. And there is a purple, blue, and green in this whole harness of wires. But what is this one for? Is it positive, negative, and signal? You know, I'm gonna try this, or I could try this. Am I gonna wreck this? I don't know, but that's why you guys are watching, so I can experiment and wreck my stuff so you don't have to. Okay, first thing will be first, I guess. Remove the actual wires from the steering wheel. Now I'm removing this whole throttle and steering unit altogether. Just leaving these wires, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on the back. Okay, so I'm just going to remove the USB cable altogether. Just removing the board that I don't need. Now I'm just tinning the other wires that are here. Okay, after an hour and a half, I've been off camera trying to figure this out for you guys because the wiring was actually a little bit complicated. The color coding, of course, didn't line up at all, but I tell you, my friends, I almost have it down. Now, first we have to understand how these pedals work. This is a sprung system. Right now it's not in the spring stance because the cover is not on, and they actually run these little variable controllers. There's teeth here and a small gear with a variable controller goes over to this side here with another setup of a variable controller as well as this pedal, and then it spits out these wires, this light green and this light blue, a white and a yellow. Plus the yellow and red are powering each one of these. These 4 little wires go through here into the pinned cable. I want to keep it so I can plug it in and take it apart nice and clean, but then it spits it out as a black, blue, white, and yellow. So I had to figure out on the Spektrum board, because it's only a 3-color wire right here, green, orange, and yellow, that it actually was yellow, blue, and white, and black, as you see set up here. And I finally have it working. I want to say to you guys, if I would have known that this was going to work, I would have paid more attention and not got a table mounted controller, of course. But I'll make it work, and I can always make a stand, no big deal. But if you guys are going to do this, think about that in advance. Here are the pedals that I switched over the variable controllers in. I do have it working. My Gmade Komodo off to the side here, plugged in with a fresh battery. You can see how I've mounted the chip from the radio. It's actually vertical. The reason I'm doing that is because there are mounting holes that the top plate here has to actually go back on with. Everything is just fine. I think I actually will just leave the transmitter antenna on the inside instead of putting it on the outside because there's no real need. And I tried with another board to do a different switch to make this front switch work here, but didn't work. For some reason, these boards don't like to work without the original switch in it. Can't figure out why. It must be the wiring. Anyway, so everything is hooked up and ready to go. Here, have a look. Yeah. So totally working, guys. No problem at all. I can do it quick or slow. Is that blowing your mind or what? Okay, so this one is going to be reverse. This one is going to be the gas pedal for forward. With these variable controllers here, these pedals are normally in a sprung position where this plate is pushing them forward a little bit. So I'm going to have to work with these to show you right now and do it a little bit manually, but watch this. This will be forward. Oh, there you go. Now go back here because it's not in a sprung position, turn it off. And then this one should be reverse. Whoa, I pushed on the gas too hard. Okay, so it would go like this. Is that crazy or what? So there you go, my friends. It does work. You can do it. I've shown you here. I hope it helps you guys out. I'm looking forward to putting an FPV camera on one of my trucks, putting my goggles on, and actually going for a drive. Is that cool or what? I think anybody can do this. I hope this has helped you out. And I guess we'll just see you in the next episode of RC Adventures. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Is this something you guys are going to try out? I know it's not very practical, but I think there's definitely uses for it. Go outside and have some fun with RC, my friends. You know I do.